Welcome, everyone. This is Basi. We're going to be doing this podcast in English. We did a live yesterday on Paramjit Singh, or Paramjit Singh is how they say it in English, I should say, but it's Paramjit Singh, who was detained by ICE. Okay, now this man flies in from India. His whole family was there. He flies back and forth all the time. Been in the United States since 1994, never had any issues, nothing like that. Now, his father passed away about 2 years ago. And so he went there, and when he on his way back with his son, he was detained. Now, let's tell you a little bit about who this man Baljinder Singh is. Okay, he arrived here in 1994. His parents had applied for him, who were green card holders at that time. 1994, guys, you did hear that correctly. Now, here we are in 2025. He flies in with his son, and they spent a few hours there, to get through immigration. Now, the family was waiting outside. His niece and brother were waiting outside. They arrived at 11 a.m. 12, they're like, okay, they'll probably be out by 12, 12:30. They waited until 7 p.m. I'm talking about around noon. They waited until 7 p.m. to figure out like what's going on. And finally, they got some message saying that, we're holding him back. We're releasing the son. Now, this man was detained because in 1999, I think I had it written down. He bought some gas stations. Okay, so at that time he had a gas station. There was a payphone. Now everybody's been asking, why did they arrest him or, file a case against him for using a payphone? I just want to clarify what about this payphone people do not know. Okay. Now, back in the 90s, now we're talking about a time where calling cards existed. It was expensive to call other countries overseas, right? So what would happen is, and I have seen this, what would happen is people would get a number, or there would be a certain payphone that would allow you to call anywhere you wanted without being billed, okay? So at his gas station, people were coming there to use the phone. All these people calling overseas, calling different countries. Well, he did the same thing. You either got a number that you dialed through that number and you were allowed to call wherever in the world you wanted. Well, he did that, and he later was charged. He did his time or whatever it was, his, what is it called? Community service. He did all that. That was taken care of. That was handled. Now, this man has been working, doing great. Maybe got one speeding ticket where he was going 55. Besides that, his record is pretty darn clean, okay? He has 2 children, his wife, and his brother and the nieces here, brothers, I should say, lives in Indiana. And this happened to him. Now, a lot of people are saying maybe he was an asylum seeker. Maybe he was this. Well, he was none of the above, guys. Okay? A hardworking man who owns 26 gas stations, employs over 500 employees, files over $1 million in taxes. Okay? And this is all the information I'm going to give to you guys. The information that I am getting and that I have received from his niece. Okay? We had a nice live yesterday. I want to give you guys whatever information we can, okay? Now, a person like him who is sick, all right, he got diagnosed with brain tumor in 2021. He does also have a heart condition, which his father also died from. He is getting no medication. He is getting no doctor's visits or anything else unless he is really sick, like the day at the airport. They had to take him to the ER. He's made a few visits to an urgent care because it was that bad. He's at the point where he's unable to see numbers and to call. He's having people help him. He wears a turban now. When he was moved around from Chicago to Indiana, he's from Fort Wayne, Indiana, his turban was removed. You know how they do that for a suicide watch for the first few days. I don't know how they do it on immigration hold and all that. I don't know about that. And now they've moved him to Kentucky. They have all the files on Paramjit Singh. Everything is right there. People are working the case. They have private investigators working this, reaching out to senators. Now, yesterday, after speaking with, the niece, we came to a conclusion that, okay, we need to contact Gurpreet Garewal, Harmeet Dillon, okay, and get as many people as we can to help this man. He's having a very tough time inside. He's not getting the proper care. And it's getting really tough, guys. It's heartbreaking to listen to the family and what they're going through. This man, let's say, okay, he has a good business, he has money, but there are other people that do not. Okay. They're hardworking people as well and living month to month. Okay. So anyone that's being detained right now for ridiculous reasons, it's sad. I've always told everyone, guys, if you watch the news, I just had somebody today I think it was on my Instagram or Facebook. I don't know where it was. And they go, you're telling people not to travel? I'm like, hell yes, I'm telling them not to travel. And I've said this for a while. Watch the news. Don't take chances. You have that green card, even if you have that citizenship. It's been at least 10 years. Do not travel out of country. I am saying that. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just telling you what I think. Now, of course, everyone is at their free will to make any choice that they would like. Do whatever you guys want. That's up to you, right? I'm just saying if it's me, I don't think I would be doing that. Because what ends up happening? Stuff like this. Now, we have a person, and he's just not one. There's many that are being detained. And I'm going to say one more thing is after the borders were open, everybody came in, everybody and their brother, everybody came in, and it's been a mess. And the good people are having to pay for this now. Okay. Now, there's so much more to the story here. His bond was granted. I want to let people know his bond was granted, but they are unable to get through. Every time they, try to, pay it or do something, the window closes or they don't have time to respond. So the family is really getting a runaround. The family health is deteriorating. The kids, they're going through it. His health is definitely spiraling downwards. Okay. And they're having a difficult time. And it's honestly, it's easier said than done. But when you've had brain surgery before because it had a tumor removed, okay, like he said. And then his doctor told him, okay, in September, let's do your other surgery because it's starting to grow again. Okay. He's losing vision, people. He lost vision in one of his eyes. All right. That's pretty bad. Okay. And what I'm hearing for a lot of people is that if somebody's vegetarian, they for I don't know how many days they didn't get, they didn't eat anything. And then finally they got some food. What I did hear about Paramjit Singh is that he hadn't showered in 5 days. He didn't have a blanket. And this is nothing that's uncommon. I am hearing this. But what if they have the wrong person? There's, I think, about 80 or so Paramjit Singhs that I think we searched up that are in the States. Maybe they have him confused with somebody else. Yes, they have this record because when he went into the urgent care, they asked for a social and, the person that took him there goes, well, he doesn't have Social Security. He's an illegal. Actually, no, he's a permanent resident. He's not an illegal. And he goes, Paramjit Singh goes, who told you I don't have Social Security? I do have Social Security. Like, oh, I feel like either information is getting mixed or nobody really cares because there's so many people, right? But it's really sad to see that people are having to go through this. All right. And a lot of people say, well, you were one of the people that voted for Trump. Yes, I am. I am one of the people. But did we know it's going to get this bad, this fast? Yes, we needed a change. We knew that. Okay. But all this that is happening, it is quite a shit show. All right, guys. And what we did was an exclusive Punjabi interview yesterday with the family. We're trying to get this information out to as many people as we can that this is going on. There are some people that are afraid to talk to the media. They're afraid to bring this up on social media. They're afraid to talk to anyone because they don't know how it's going to be handled, what the response will be. But I'm going to say one thing, and I always talk about this, guys. Until you talk about it, you bring it out, it's going to sit there and it's not going to go anywhere. If you want to make a change, you want something to happen, you need help, ask for it. Okay. I was lucky that I got this story. A lot of times we'll mystery because there's so much happening, but I saw this story. I'm like, oh, wow. I saw his picture and I started searching into it and then, got in contact. So there was another story where a 73-year-old woman who was also detained in California. I've been talking to that attorney as well. The family was really appreciative that we had posted and spoke about this as well. Same issue. Been in the country since 1992. And, she's been checking with ICE for the last 13 years. And she was picked up on her last check-in. All right. The granddaughter's waiting outside. That's what happened. So there's a lot of people out there that are not speaking about this. There's I don't even know what is it, 68,000 or something. I'll have to look it up. That are in these immigration detentions and holds. Okay, it is very tough. I've spoken to some people, that were in there for a year, year and a half. I've spoken to those families. It is very tough. I was told they don't get blankets. They don't get, cutlery. They have to purchase it. You have to purchase everything, soap, toothbrush, everything. And for this one person I spoke with, the wife was spending $1,500 plus a month just for normal necessities. Okay. So yes, there is stuff that needed to happen, needed to be done, but it's really hard on those families as well. I don't know what other checks we need before we start just picking up everybody. But again, I'm going to say the same thing as I said before. A lot of people are sick. They're not getting the care, medical help that they do need. Anything we could do to help my team, we're always here. I just feel like we need to raise awareness against what is happening. And again, people, you got to stay safe. You got to, be smarter and say, well, you know what? Let's not take this chance. But unfortunately, there are circumstances, and people have been traveling for so long. They're like, well, we've lived here for this many years, right? You guys have to work on getting your citizenship. And if there's any reason you think that you will not get your citizenship or something did happen, speak to an attorney, please. What needs to be done, get it done. Do not wait. It is not the time to just hold onto that green card and say, well, I am a green card holder. Because a lot of times they're being referenced as illegal aliens. People don't work permit. Everyone is a legal alien. It's just like, oh, wow, I haven't heard that term in so long. But I don't understand. I'm not getting it. It's just getting bad, and it's getting bad really fast. So I wanted to bring the story about Paramjit Singh from Fort Wayne, Indiana, who's really been going through it, and not just him, his family included. The stress is unbearable, and they're like, we don't know what to do. So somebody that's in a tight spot like that, it's really tough. I want to thank everyone that listened and joined in today. Again, thank you so much for listening. Ruby Basi from Seattle, Washington. I want to thank everyone that listens and supports. This episode was in English, and please do forward it to your English speaking friends. Most of them that are in Punjabi. So I'm definitely trying to work on maybe 2 that we can do, one in English and one Punjabi, but it's always a work in progress. Thank you so much for your time. We'll speak again.